So, ironically, I've been going back and forth
Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
in the comments with this other Trinidadian YouTuber under a nice white Caucasian lady's video. She does, YouTube tips and tricks type content, and I just made a statement in the comments that it's a bit difficult to be able to make money online, especially when the big platforms do not monetize in our country. And what I mean by that is, if you go on Facebook, if you go on YouTube, there's a list of eligible countries with which they partner with and pay out to content creators within those particular countries. And Trinidad and Tobago is not on the list, right? So that to me is the very definition of not being able to monetize. Then comes somebody in the comments talking about, what are you talking about? Yes, you can monetize, ting, ting, ting. And I'm like, yeah, I'm talking about those platforms specifically. There are other platforms that we could monetize on. And of course, you could always build your own website and use other forms of ways of collecting payments through payment processors and other apps, right? And yes, I know this, so I immediately said I understand that, but I'm talking specifically about like Facebook and YouTube. And she's like, well, for YouTube you can, I don't know what you're talking about, but you could do it. And I was like, yeah, it's a backdoor way and I just don't feel comfortable doing that. And she got defensive, I believe, to say, what you're talking about is not a backdoor way, everything I talking about is legitimate. So I to cut things short, because I don't really like arguments and confrontations, not really, especially people I don't know. I was just like, okay, well, I'm confused, let me know what you're talking about. And this is where she goes into the same backdoor method that I am referring to, that I know about because I have done my research. So to put this into context, I'm going to use a specific example in the physical world, because I feel like people out here operating on the online world and they're really not understanding that the same rules apply, especially when it comes to making money and conducting business transactions. It is the same thing you would do in the physical world that you're supposed to do, replicated on the online space. So here's the example, and this is specific to Trinidadian YouTubers. I'm talking to you specifically because everything is going to come crumbling down very, very soon. And this is why I'm making this video, so that you could clear out and pack up shop, because I don't want this to blow out into a big thing, and then what we really don't want to happen will happen, and they will probably blacklist us and not ever consider working with us in the future, which is what I'm trying to work towards, and eventually get us on the map and get us on the list of eligible countries. Because if everybody keeps hiding and being for themselves, then we'll never really progress. But again, people don't have big vision, whatever. Let me get into the analogy, right? Because I'm rambling. So, for example, years ago, we had McDonald's, right, in our country. Then McDonald's left for a couple of years and now they're back, right? So let's just use that as an example. Say I really, really love McDonald's and I want to work with them. Now, being able to work with a business like McDonald's, there are two types. There will be the employees, right? That means I become a cashier or a cook or whatever, and I collect a paycheck from McDonald's. They take out the taxes, right, for the country that they're operating in. This is key, right? Because they'll be operating business in Trinidad, taking all the taxes from all the employees and paying Trinidad tax, okay? Because that's where they're operating. And then also they'll be working with contractors. Now these will be the people either providing the ingredients, so where they're buying their vegetables from, where they're buying their chicken from, their meat, whatever, right? So let's just say, but I've heard that McDonald's, I think, don't like to support the local farms. But let's just say, for this example, for argument purposes, that McDonald's is conducting business from airing farms, one of the chicken farms, and they're getting chickens from there to sell, to cook and sell, right? When they conduct business with airing farms, a local business here, because they're operating in Trinidad and Tobago, right? Once that transaction is finished, the contractor, which would be the airing farm, the local business, at the end of the day, they are going to, after they do their income, expenses, and they get their profits, they pay their taxes on that to the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Correct? Okay. This is important. This is key. So now that we have a real life example, right? Let's look at when McDonald's left the country. So, for all intents and purposes, the period of time that McDonald's left Trinidad and Tobago, nobody could work with them, correct? Because they were not conducting business in Trinidad and Tobago. You couldn't be an employee for them. You couldn't be a contractor for them, right? You couldn't be a supplier for them, giving them the ingredients, or you couldn't go and work for them as an employee. The only way you could go and work with or conduct business with McDonald's is if you went to another country where McDonald's was operating business, let's say America. Now, if you were going to do that, whether you were flying out to go to America to be on site where McDonald's is conducting business, and you become an employee, you are essentially working in the United States. And where would you be paying taxes if you are working in the United States? Even if you're a foreigner, you would be paying taxes to the US government. Same thing if you were conducting business in America with McDonald's, then once you did all your accounting and you get your profits for the month or whatever, for the year, the quarter, however you're paying your taxes, you would then pay taxes to the US government because you are operating business in the US, okay, in America. All right, now let's bring this back to YouTube. All right, it's the same thing. YouTube does not conduct business with Trinidad and Tobago because we are not on the list of eligible countries. Now, just because you simply change your location and lied about where you are conducting business to essentially trick the system into making YouTube believe that you are now in a country where they do conduct business, right? That is a problem for many reasons, and especially in terms of where you are paying your taxes, because now you are stating that you are conducting business in another country, but you are not paying taxes in that country because obviously you don't have like a work visa, or you don't have a business over there, you don't have your tax number or whatever other information that you would need to pay taxes in America. Because what this backdoor or loophole that people are exploiting is that they're just changing their location and then they're putting their country's tax information and banking information on the back end of that, right? Now, the only reason why this is still working and will not work very soon is because YouTube is treating all content creators like a supplier or like a contractor, where you are responsible for remitting your own taxes and they have no part to play in that, right? So essentially, as a content creator, as it stands now, with getting paid from YouTube is literally just paying you to run ads on your videos. So you are like an independent contractor. You're not like an employee. However, with the new monetization rules that they have changed in their terms of service and in their guidelines, I talked a little bit about that in this video here, and they are essentially and they're rolling it out with America first, of course. They are going to change the business dynamic in terms of having the content creators as independent contractors, and now the content creators are going to be like employees, meaning to say that they are going to start withholding taxes. So what does that mean? If you say you are operating in America, they are going to want to now withhold the taxes, pay your taxes for you to the IRS, because they're looking at how you set up your channel and you're saying you're conducting business with them in America. Therefore, you need to be remitting taxes to the US government, right? What's going to happen when all the people who put their location as America and then they're seeing all these other Caribbean islands tax information that they don't conduct business with? How are they going to pay taxes for you? They're not, and they're going to flag you because you lied, basically. Or they're going to ask you, where is your EIN or whatever other information they need to pay taxes to the IRS. Now, for the life of me, I don't know why all they would want the IRS on all the behind, but I don't want that. So this is a fair warning to all the Trinidadian YouTubers in particular, and any other Caribbean islands who's using this way to monetize their YouTube channel. Please get out before they change around and implement all of this, because all are about to get catch and mess it up for everybody. Because just like how they had this whole thing with these scammers in the third world countries, they give us a hard time because of the scammers that are making a bad name for us. It's very difficult to know when you're trying to do something legitimate, they don't trust us, right? And we get labeled with this bad stereotype. So I believe that that is what's going to happen, because it's just makes sense. I don't know why people don't understand how much of a issue and problem this really is, and that you can't be doing the wrong thing and claiming that that's the right thing. Like, no, it's a backdoor. The first entry in was a lie, and the second one was another lie to cover up the first lie. If that is not a backdoor or a way around, I don't know what to tell you. But once they start to change it from you paying your own taxes and they withholding taxes from you, then it's a whole other ball game. All right, because at the end of the day, it's like you're a foreigner working in America when you set up your channel like that. And whether or not that's the case, you have to pay the taxes where your business set up shop, basically. And if you say you set up shop in America, then you need to be paying money to the IRS. And I'm not even going to get into the nitty-gritty of whether or not you're paying taxes at all, but the IRS don't play. And all they're playing with fire. We don't have that much stringent stuff down here, but you can't be playing them games with those first world countries, because it's not the same. And this is really a fair warning. Please, take this into consideration. And I know that this is like what everybody does, but we can't do it anymore. And hopefully y'all will proudly rep your country and location and show business, because at the end of the day, YouTube is a business. So we need to show YouTube that there is business here, that there are content creators here, and there are advertisers willing to advertise on our videos. Okay, it's all a business. Okay, big picture. Stop being selfish and looking only at yourself and the $200-300 US that you can make online. Okay, let's think about it.